Hello and welcome to another Looney Tunes review video. If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to follow my journey to review all 1000 Looney Tunes shorts, and give this video a like as well. So this is a review for Of Thee I Sting, and with me today is my fellow mosquito, Austin Kelly. Say hi.
Hi.
So as mentioned, this is Of Thee I Sting, released in 1946. It's the 480th in the series, and it's directed by Friz Freleng. You can currently find this brand new restoration on the HBO Max streaming service. So in case you haven't seen this very exciting cartoon, all that really happens is that a man protects himself against mosquito attacks, so of course the mosquitoes are training army style in order to invade this man's home. And that's pretty much it. Originally, this video was in the form of a commentary, but I had to take it down due to a request by Warner Brothers Legal, so here it is, remixed along with a few extra bits and pieces. So grab some popcorn and enjoy this exciting cartoon, I guess. The title itself is off the musical Of Thee I Sing, which should be pretty apparent, but I figure, you know, I'm gonna definitely mention that. Gravel Gertie, even got Bugs Bunny cameo too. Sweet Sue, Miss Calabash. I also wanted to point out that this is what was done on a lot of the plane fighters in World War II, where they would have some sort of design on the sides, and even the Walt Disney Studio did a few of those. But also this Mrs. Calabash entry, for those of you that don't know, that comes from the comedian Jimmy Durante, and he used it as his sign-off where it was like, "Good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are." Apologies for the poor imitation, I'm awful at it.
I mean, I usually say I'm very glad to be here, but like, there's nothing particularly glad to be about when you're talking about this cartoon, you know?
That DDT, by the way, that's was a chemical used against bugs back then, which, off memory, I think it's now banned because it was not good against the ozone or something. I don't know. I'm not going to get into the whole history of pesticides here, am I? I mean, it'd be more interesting than this cartoon, but, you know, whatever. This short uses a lot of footage from a Private Snafu cartoon, and the Snafu print comes from Thunderbean, and I'll have a link below for you to purchase their wonderful Private Snafu set.
The big attack depends largely on the element of surprise. All units are working in perfect unison.
It's a Snafu cartoon called Target Snafu, and you can tell because that scene we just saw was animated by Cal Dalton. It was traced from Target Snafu, and it was the Cal Dalton scene. Cal, who was at this time when Of Thee I Sting was being worked on, was in the McKimson unit. I mean, as for my thoughts on this one, I just want to get this out of the way. I don't hate it, but I think it's weird. I don't know why there's so much reused animation from that Snafu specifically, but there's nothing in 1945 or 1946 that would point to Of Thee I Sting having to be made and having to be such a lazy cartoon in the first place. But this just feels like Friz getting lazy and trying to reuse the concept he came up with for the Snafu cartoon. You know, Friz is infamously known for reusing old plots and old gags, but he always tried to improve on the older stuff whenever he reused that. But there's no attempt at improving anything from the Snafu cartoon here. It's just blatant reuse. Yeah.
Just all, all,
And
all,
you mentioned
all
that schoolhouse scene. I want to just mention this fact. You mentioned that schoolhouse scene. What's weird about that scene is that it's got an interesting bit of music by Stalling. It's a Raymond Scott song called Boy Scout in Switzerland. Scott tune that was rarely, if ever, used on the Warner cartoons outside of Frank Tashland's Behind the Meatball from the year before. Stalling got the rights to the Scott music beginning with the mid-43 releases, but Stalling was still very much so obsessed with Scott's stuff by the point that Of the Ice Sting would have been scored, so it's not such a crazy music decision, but I thought that was kind of an interesting fact.
Weirdly enough, you'd think, okay, the war was over by a year, but by this point, give or take a month or so, you'd think it would have been in very early stages when this idea would have come out, and what you would think, why continue with it? Why not just scrap it because of it being at an early stage? But no, they seem to have finished it. I don't know. It's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
There's usually a very clear reason for why there's being a cheater cartoon made at a particular time. Clampett did a lot of really ambitious, expensive cartoons like Coal Black, and those are followed by a series of cheaters and remakes like Tick-Tock Tuckered and Tin Pan Alley Cats. But there's nothing in 1945 or 1946 that would point to Of the Ice Sting having to be made and having to be such a lazy cartoon in the first place. There are some amazing gags and bits of animation in this one, though there is a lot of reused stuff. I mean, Friz's sense for comedic timing is still here, and I especially laughed at the beginning where, the beaten up mosquito just gets blatantly kicked out on his ass for being too weak. I thought that was kind of a funny bit.
Oh, and I like the ground school. I thought that's your typical dad joke that you would see in the beginning there. It's such a wee one. Target Snafu and all the Snafus were made for the army, and the people watching this in the cinemas when it came out, they wouldn't know anything really much about Snafu because it wasn't released there. Unless maybe someone who came back from the army might have remembered some of them, but then who would remember these cartoons in such great detail when you're fighting the good fight and try not to die. But anyway. Now, as for my score, look, this one is ultimately pretty forgettable, with a few minor gags here and there that work and some nice bits of animation. I'm giving this one a 6 out of 10. It's just meh. And I've confirmed with Austin Kelly that he would give this one 6 out of 10 as well.
Like you said, it's kind of forgettable. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either.
So that'll do it for this one. So thanks very much for watching, guys, and until next time, take care.
Their mission accomplished, they return to the bases where decorations for valor are in order.